What's up, guys? It's Sam. Since we just made some black match, I wanted to make a quick video on rolling some leader pipe for shell leaders, pass fire, and quick match. Um, like I said, it'll be a short video, but I just want every time I make black match, I'm usually almost out of uh, quick match tubes. So I figured I'd record a quick video on how I do it. So all we're going to need is some uh, I use a sharp kitchen knife to cut my craft paper. You'll need craft paper, obviously, preferably 30 to 40 pound. You can use whatever you got on hand. It's not really going to make that big a difference. Some Elmer's glue. And so this is another trick I learned from Ned Gorskis. This is just a curtain rod. It's called a tension rod. You get it for like $3 at Walmart. 28 to 48 inches, 7/16 diameter. So whenever you pull this out, it's going to have a spring on the inside. Toss aside the outer side. Pull the boot off. Hopefully you guys can see it on camera, but it's got a slit that goes all the way up the length of the bar. I'll show you why that's important in a minute. If you don't have one of these on hand or don't feel like going and getting one, I'm sure a 3/8 dowel would work just fine. I meant to mention the outer, it's labeled as a 7/16 rod, but so the outer case is 7/16, but the inner tube is roughly 3/8, and that's what we want, is that inner bar. Like I said, a 3/8 dowel rod would probably work, but it's just hard once the tube's rolled. It's hard to slide that dowel out. This makes it 10 times easier. So I just wanted to. I got a couple of them laying around. I just wanted to get one so I could show you guys exactly what we need. I'm working with 40-pound craft paper. I got working off of a 24-inch wide roll. I cut my match pipe at 24 inches, so 2 feet. Since my craft paper is 2 feet wide, I know I just cut a piece of scrap just so I know I can lay it down and just give me a rough estimate of how much paper I got. I cut my craft paper with a sharp kitchen knife. One of the many things I've learned from the GOAT, Ned Gorskis. Makes it way easier than cutting it with scissors or whatever. So if you're unfamiliar with how craft paper is made, it's obviously rolled out in one big long sheet. So reading different books like Falconelli, for example, he talks about the grain of craft paper. So 99% of the time, the grain is going to be long. The grain's going to be running with your paper lengthwise. So the entire length of your roll. So I just cut it, pulled it out, laid it out. So my grain's going this way. So instead of folding it this way and cutting our pipe like that, we're going to fold it with the grain this way. I believe Falconelli says 3 turns of paper. So I'm kind of stupid, but I think 4 inches pretty much covers 3/8 diameter 3 times. So I'm gonna. I'm just gonna. Sorry, guys. Let me grab a pen. All right. So, like I said, we want 3 turns of craft around our 3/8 dowel. So I'm gonna mark my 24-inch wide paper at 4 inches. That way, I can get 6 pieces out of each 24-inch long sheet that I cut. That side. Turn my paper. Doesn't have to be perfect. Get it as straight as you can. You get a good crease in your craft and your knife's plenty sharp, it just glides through it like butter, man. And before I move the piece I just cut too far, I'll mark the next one. Set that aside. So this is a good project for a rainy day. It's nasty outside. You can't get out and do anything you want to. Turn the football game on, whatever. Start with my knife. All right, so I'm gonna cut the rest of my paper and check back with you guys. All right, so we got our paper cut, got our rod ready. I mentioned in the beginning that there's a slit that runs the entire length of the pipe, so it can compress inside that outer sleeve. What we're gonna do is take that slit, get it in there, and run it down the entire length of our paper. Or it can get kind of frustrating until you do it a few times. It looks easy, but sometimes the paper doesn't cooperate. And then, I mean, just press as you're rolling. Try to keep it tight on there. Like I said, that paper, that the fact that it's slid inside and it's got that relief cut down the length of the pipe makes it way easier to slide off. Gonna take our Elmer's glue and run a good bead. Of course, run a good bead of Elmer's glue. Sure, wood glue would be just fine too. I could get my glue bottle to cooperate with me, sorry. There we go. I use a generous amount. You probably don't have to use that much, but sometimes it doesn't always stick on the first roll, and you got to go back and yeah, I usually do this in the house whenever my wife's out of town, and I get my daughter's markers out and cut her a couple pieces of craft and let her go to town on that. Keeps her occupied while I'm rolling match pipe, and I scored major dad points at the same time. So this is one of those things that you just kind of get a feel for it after a few times doing it. I'm not giving the best example here, but I promise it goes really fast once you get a few of them down. And just like that, I mean, your rod slides out. You got a perfect piece of match pipe. Roughly 3 turns. Do a couple more, and tomorrow I'm going to shoot just for people who don't know, you know, I've noticed a lot of people who are really green in the hobby asking questions, so I'm going to make some quick match, show how that's done. I mean, it doesn't, as far as pyro projects go, it doesn't get much easier than quick match once we get the black match and the pipe rolled. Plus the 3 of them kind of go hand in hand, so I figured it's appropriate to show all 3. There you go. If you guys have better ways of doing this, let me know in the comments. I'm all for experimenting and doing things different, but like I said, I learned a lot of stuff from Ned's Fireworking 101 videos. If you guys aren't familiar with that series, you should go check it out. He covers the fundamentals of pyrotechnics in extreme detail, and Ned's extremely knowledgeable and a great teacher, far more articulate than I. And whenever you're done, just set them somewhere relatively warm to dry, and they'll be ready to use the next day. In all honesty, I've used them, with in a few minutes of rolling them for pass fire tubes. So there you have it. I'm not going to sit here and make you guys watch me rolling a few dozen of them, but whenever I'm cutting, I like to do 40, 50 of them at a time, just so you can bang them out pretty easily once you cut your squares, then cut your strips, then roll and glue them all at the same time. That's it. Yeah, like I said, I'll be making a video real soon on some quick match. If you guys got any questions, ask in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you next time.